And mine on BBC Radio Ulster and Radio Foyle. We're chasing storms in Mahara at Drumlamp Wood with the Nightskyhunter, a man who knows where you find the best auroras too. And it's past 8 here on BBC Radio Ulster, and this is your place and now. Your place and mine, even. Not now, it is now. But we're storm chasing in Mahara next. You need to know when to look and what you're looking for. Martin McKenna from the town is a bit of an expert when it comes to this. He's been fascinated by the night sky since he was at school, and he spends a lot of his time getting up in the middle of the night to chase auroras, storms, the moon, the stars, all over Northern Ireland and try and photograph them. And a good place to do that is where we met at Drumlamp Wood, that's between Mahara and Garva on the Grilla Road, even though it was a bit early for Martin.
The night sky is where I operate. That's my passion, it's my life, and the darker the skies the better. I'm always in search of dark skies, and anyone who's into astronomy of course will know that light pollution is a bad thing. You have to get away from the city lights, the street lights, and seek dark skies to see the wonders of the universe.
And you've been at this for, well, I suppose about 10 years or so now. Was it that light bulb moment that dawned on you and you thought, you looked up one day and thought, I have to find out more about that space above my head?
I'll never forget how it first happened. It was a lovely freezing winter's night, and it was so dark, and I remember going out the back door late at night before I went to bed, and I was feeling very reflective, and probably one of those moments in life you wonder what are you going to do in your future. You don't know where you're going, what's it all about. So I decided to stand on top of the oil tank at the back of our house. It's a very large, the old metal ones, the tin ones, probably about 10 foot off the ground. I was slippery, covered in frost, but I just stood on it and I was looking up the sky, and for some reason it never occurred to me before to look up. But I did that night, and I saw the stars. I perceived there to be millions of them. The Milky Way was glowing like a cloud in the sky, and that was like an awakening moment for me. I looked up there and I thought, why do I not know those stars? So I decided that the next day, I vowed that I would go down to the library, get a book out, and I would learn those stars. I wanted to know the name of every one of them. I wanted to know the sky so well that if a new star appeared, I would recognize it immediately from those patterns. I remember last year, for example, November, December period, there was a lot of snow up around Glen Shane here. I was out in some of them moonlit nights doing photography of the snow and the stars, and maybe doing 9, 10, and on one occasion 14 hours straight of constant, photography in the snow with blizzard conditions on and off. Real, just completely exposed to elements, and you come back and it's such a buzz. It really is, feeling that energy from nature.
Well, that's
all
dedication.
Night long.
What drives you? I mean, it's one thing to have this telescope and to be able to track the formations in the galaxy and the stars and the meteors and the asteroids and the planets, but to capture that elusive image, what is it that you're constantly seeking to find?
I think that nature offers so many wonderful gifts in the sky, so many amazing experiences. I decided at one point, before I had a camera, I was seeing everything visually with my own eyes, which for me at the time was enough. I was seeing it and I was feeling it. I love that feeling you get inside when you see something special. However, it got to the point where I wanted to capture it to show other people the kind of amazing phenomena that happen in our skies here, whether related to astronomy or even the weather.
When I was a youngster, a lot younger, I used to be fascinated slightly with the aurora borealis. But I thought that was something you could only see if you went to Norway or Denmark or some of the Nordic countries, until I started to learn just a couple of years ago that we don't have to go anywhere near as far north as that actually the North Coast is one of the best places to see that.
That's correct. Northern Ireland is a hotspot for aurora. It always has been and always will be. We're at a very favourable position, on the geomagnetic map. The aurora visits our shores, it visits us over land in regular intervals, and if you're lucky enough and you time it right, when there's a good solar activity, you will see it, and you don't even need to be at the coast. The coast is fantastic because it's so dark, there's no lights, but inland in a good geomagnetic storm, as some people will probably remember from maybe 10, 20 years ago, there's been awesome storms here that covered the entire sky, blood red colours and greens and blues, and with motions so fast it was almost like a silent explosion going off in the sky. Some people will remember those. I remember seeing those myself, and honestly, I know people who actually went to Iceland looking for the aurora, have been clouded out, or the aurora never happened, and then they come back and they seen it from Glenshane Pass. So that's the kind. So yes, it's nice to do that, to go further north and see that, and the auroras will always be stronger and brighter and so forth. But to see it from your own country,
it's even more special.
It's even more special. You know, it's closer to the heart.
Alright, what's the weather going to do to us? Is it going to be awful? Well, we certainly have warnings out for it at the moment for coastal areas. No, we are expecting some big waves later on today when the high tides come in. As a result, we can see some coastal flooding and possibly some...
You're a storm chaser, you're an astronomer, you're a photographer, but is it storm chaser, is that about the right way to describe one of the other things that you do?
That's right, that's my other passion as well, yeah. Storms, I love chasing storms, finding storms, photographing storms. I get such a buzz from photographing nature. Again, it's just another manifestation of nature being dynamic and unpredictable and trying to catch it in the act during that special moment. Every season brings... presents me with something special from the sky. During the summer, we get the strong solar heating. It's good for thunderstorms, and we get nocturnal distant clouds at night time, which are another amazing phenomena. However, once the heating cools down, the seasons change, the nights draw in. That's when the stars come out. We get longer, darker nights, and of course the magnetic field orientation around the poles of the earth are more favourable for the aurora. So there's actually 2 aurora seasons each year. One spring, one is the autumn equinox. So from approximately September, October, November period is the hot zone, the window period to see aurora.
Right,
Aurora can be extremely intense during that time, and and that's when you need to be on the hunt, when you need to be watching, studying the charts, and you can see a show of a lifetime.
Further inland, we will have some strong gusts with showers coming in. It'll be quite squally.
Maybe you do have a part-time job with the Met Office. I don't know. And if you don't, maybe they should sign you up. But how do you work out where they're going to be? You must be pretty good at studying the weather charts.
The best thing to do is to learn how to forecast myself, and that's what I did. I started learning to do it. It's quite complex, but it's even more rewarding because from looking at charts, looking at numbers, from model forecasts days in advance, and if it leads up to a spectacular moment, I've seen a funnel cloud rotating in the sky trying to put down a tornado, say, over Loch Ness, a couple of days in the future, it all comes back 2 days before from some chart, from some weather balloon that was released from the sky, and you reading those charts, trying to interpret the weather, figuring out where to go, when it's going to happen, looking at the wind shear, the cape. That's part of the excitement.
So it's not always just about the big drama of thunder and lightning necessarily. What else would you be looking for? Because we're always giving off about the awful weather we have. Do we have awful weather? Do we have weather worth photographing? Obviously we do.
Yeah, we certainly do. Probably more so than most other areas, because our weather is so dynamic. It's always changing. We live on an island surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, and the wind comes from different directions. We get the warm southwesterlies, we get the freezing northerlies, we get the easterly. It's always changing, and that can bring snow, hailstones, thunder and lightning, hot sunshine. You can get all that within a day. It's fantastic. If you're at the right place at the right time, the weather's happening and the light is good, you'll get phenomenal photographs, and I can't think of a better place to be honest.
And he does definitely get phenomenal pictures. Martin has his own website, Nightskyhunter.com, and there is a spectacular photograph on our website too, bbc.co.uk/Radio Ulster /YPAM. Ring us, of course, if you need any more details, 08459